A new global race has absolutely begun, and it's unlike anything we've ever seen. This isn't just about military might or economic output in the old-school sense. Nope. The competition for AI supremacy is a contest to build the very foundation of future growth, trade, and influence.
And this quote from researcher Anastasia Makasakova just nails it. The tiny silicon chips that power all of AI, they've become, as she says, new weapons of geopolitical power. This isn't a sideshow, folks. This is the main event. If you control the chips, you control the AI. And if you control the AI, you have a massive advantage on the world stage.
Which brings us to the big question, right? In this incredibly high-stakes race, who is actually ahead? Well, the answer is a lot more complex, and honestly, way more interesting than you might think. Okay, to really get a handle on this, we've got to look at the heavyweights first. Right now, there are 3 clear AI superpowers, and each one has a completely different game plan for winning: the United States, China, and the European Union.
What's so fascinating about this is how it lays out 3 totally different philosophies. In the United States, it's all about the private sector. Its power comes from this incredible venture capital engine that funds labs like OpenAI and Google DeepMind. The place is creating the most powerful AI systems we've ever seen. China's strategy, it's all about state-driven scale. It uses its huge population for massive data access and basically orders AI adoption across its industries. And then you have the European Union, which is playing a totally different game of regulatory sovereignty, using its giant market to set the rules for everyone else.
And hey, if you want to see that U.S. private sector approach in action, this chart says it all. In 2024, U.S.-based institutions produced 40 notable, cutting-edge AI models. I mean, that's more than double China's 15 and just blows the EU's 3 out of the water. Now, Chinese models are catching up fast in terms of quality, but right now, the US is just churning out the sheer volume of new systems that are pushing the limits of what's possible. Now let's zoom in on China's playbook, because this is a really big one. A key idea is military-civil fusion. This isn't just about collaboration, it's a state-mandated strategy. It means that any breakthrough at a commercial AI company can, and is expected to, be used to directly support the military. It totally blurs the line between a tech company and an arm of the state, creating this incredibly powerful, unified national effort. The EU's strategy, on the other hand, is to use law as its primary weapon. By passing the huge EU AI Act, it's not just regulating its own turf. Because its market is so massive, any company anywhere in the world that wants to sell AI services to Europeans has to play by its rules. This is what's known as the Brussels effect. The EU basically exports its regulations, shaping how AI is built globally by setting the legal terms of the game. But the story doesn't stop with the big 3. Not at all. There's a group of smaller, super agile nations that are popping up as strategic contenders. See, they can't compete on pure size, so they compete with intense focus and strategy, and they are punching way above their weight class.
Okay, take Israel. According to LinkedIn's data, it has the world's highest concentration of AI professionals. We're talking almost 2% of its entire workforce. That's an incredible density. It means the country is just humming with AI expertise, and that creates this self-fueling engine for innovation and new startups.
Then there's Singapore, the undisputed champion of what analysts are calling AI intensity. When you adjust for its small size, no other country invests more per person in AI, has more focused research, or has a more hopping startup scene. It's basically a living laboratory for AI in everything from finance to city planning. And we have to talk about the United Arab Emirates, which is leading the world in AI adoption. Get this, a wild 64% of its working-age population was using AI by the end of 2024. Through really forward-thinking policies and a major push to get AI into daily life, it's showing the rest of us what widespread adoption actually looks like. So this brings up a really crucial point, the difference between scale and intensity. You've got the giants, the US and China, who win on the absolute numbers, total dollars spent, total models made. But then you've got the champions, like Singapore and Israel, who are leading on intensity. That's the per-person investment and talent density. It shows that being a leader isn't just about being big, it's about a deep, focused commitment across the board. It paints a much more nuanced picture of who's really all in on AI. So what does it actually take to compete here? What are the raw materials you need to build a nation into an AI powerhouse? Well, it really boils down to 3 core ingredients. To build an AI superpower, you need these 3 pillars. First, compute. That's the raw hardware, the chips, the data centers. Second, talent. The human brains, right? The researchers and engineers who can actually build this stuff. And third, Data. That's the fuel that trains every single AI model. You just can't win unless you are world-class in all three.
And let's be super clear here. The entire AI revolution is built on compute, which really means it's built on these tiny, unbelievably complex pieces of silicon. Semiconductors are the physical backbone of AI. This makes them the ultimate geopolitical choke point. If you control the supply of advanced chips, you can speed up your own progress and hit the brakes on your rivals. The amount of money you need to build world-class compute is just staggering. This number right here, that's $100 billion. It represents Saudi Arabia's Project Transcendence, a government plan to build out its AI infrastructure. This is the price of admission to play in the big leagues of AI, an investment that only a few nations can even think about making.
And if you look at the scoreboard for this hardware race, it reveals a really fascinating state of play. The United States has a mind-boggling amount of AI-capable power and nearly 4 times as many top-tier supercomputers as anyone else. China, though, leads the world in the sheer number of data center clusters. And look at Saudi Arabia. Thanks to that huge investment, it's rocketed up the ranks to become the 3rd most powerful nation in total AI compute.
So this intense competition over the core ingredients of AI, it's having a massive impact on global politics. It's not just creating rivals, it's actively redrawing the map of alliances and creating new digital fault lines that are literally dividing the world.
The key idea to get your head around here is the rise of technoblocks. The world is basically reorganizing itself along technological lines. More and more, countries are being forced to pick a team, aligning with either the US-led sphere, with its tech and its rules, or the China-led sphere, with its own separate ecosystem and standards. You're pretty much in one camp or the other.
So why should you care?
Well, because a technologically divided world comes with enormous risks for everybody. You could see competing AI standards where systems can't talk to each other. We're already seeing more digital protectionism where countries lock down their data. This could lead to technology being used as a weapon, with access to chips or platforms getting cut off. And ultimately, that just slows down growth and innovation for everyone on the planet.
So, as we pull all these pieces together, the superpowers, the rising stars, the race for hardware, the splintering of the digital world, what's the ultimate prize in this whole global competition?
This quote just captures it perfectly. This isn't some academic contest or a race for tech bragging rights. The country that leads in AI will have the power to shape global trade, to define what the future of work looks like, and to attract the biggest share of investment and talent. They will literally build and own the core infrastructure of the 21st century economy.
And that brings us to the final and most critical thought. The winners of this race, they get to write the rules. Not just for technology, but for privacy, for ethics, for trade, for society itself. So the real question we should all be asking ourselves is this: what rules will they write for you and for the world that you're going to live in?